The massacre begins. The sky was dark. Smoke covered the stars. Fire burned across the battlefield. Tanks lay broken. Soldiers screamed. The ground was shaking. Something big was coming. Commander Jace Ward stood alone, his armor cracked, blood on his face. He had seen many battles before, but nothing like this. The monster was real, and it was unstoppable. They called it Razgor. No one knew where it came from. Some said it was a failed experiment. Others said it was not from this world. All Jace knew was that it had already killed 3,000 soldiers, and it was still hungry. Jace watched in horror as Razgor tore through a tank with its claws. The metal screamed louder than the men inside. With one swing, the monster sent burning steel flying across the field. He grabbed his radio. "All units, fall back! I repeat, fall!" Static. The signal was gone. Too much interference. The command center had gone silent 10 minutes ago. Maybe it was already gone. He looked around. Bodies everywhere, flames dancing in the wind. The last group of fighters had been wiped out in seconds. He was alone now. Jace took cover behind a broken wall. His hands were shaking. He checked his rifle. One clip left. Not enough. Not even close. Suddenly the ground trembled again. Heavy footsteps. Closer. Jace held his breath. He peeked over the wall. Razgor was tall, maybe 3 stories high. Its body was covered in black armor, but not metal. It looked like living steel. Its eyes glowed red. Its claws were long and sharp, dripping with oil and blood. It stopped, sniffed the air, then slowly turned toward him. Jace ducked. Too late. The wall exploded behind him as the monster struck. He rolled, coughing, dust in his lungs. He raised his gun and fired. The bullets bounced off Razgor's chest like rain on stone. Then, a sharp pain in his side. A piece of the wall had cut him. He was bleeding. Jace crawled backward, trying to stay conscious. The monster stood over him now. Razgor raised its claw and paused. Its eyes flickered. Jace saw something strange. For just a second, the monster hesitated, as if it remembered something. Then it roared. The sound shook the earth. Jace closed his eyes. He thought this was the end, but then came a memory, a face, a girl's voice. "Come back to me, Jace. Promise me." Lena. She was still waiting, still alive. He had to protect her. With a sudden burst of strength, Jace threw a grenade at the monster's foot. It wasn't much, but it made Razgor step back. He ran, through smoke and fire, stumbling over bodies, breathing hard. He found a hole in the ground, a collapsed tunnel. He dove in just as the monster roared again behind him. Silence. Jace crawled deeper into the tunnel. It was dark, cold, but safe. For now, he sat against the wall, breathing heavily. His hands were shaking again, but not from fear, from rage. "This thing," he whispered, "has killed enough." He took out a photo from his pocket. It was old and faded. Lena, smiling. He looked at it for a long moment, then tucked it back into his armor. "I'll protect you," he said softly. No matter what, he didn't care about the army anymore, or the government, or orders. This wasn't about war now. This was personal. The girl and the secret. The tunnel was quiet now. Only the sound of dripping water echoed in the darkness. Jace Ward sat still, holding his side. Blood soaked his armor, but the pain didn't matter. Not anymore. He had one thing on his mind. Lena. Somewhere, far from this battlefield, she was waiting for him. And the monster was hunting her. Not because of who she was, but because of what she was. Jace forced himself to move. He climbed through the tunnels for hours. No food, no light. Only his memories to guide him. 3 years ago. Lena was just a child then, maybe 10 years old. She had been found inside a destroyed lab. The place was full of dead scientists, broken machines, and strange files. No one knew what had happened, except Jace. He had been on that mission. He was the one who pulled Lena out of the fire. She didn't speak, didn't cry. She just stared at him with strange golden eyes. From that moment, he knew she was different. She wasn't just another refugee. She was something else. Now, deep under the ruins of the city, Jace reached a hidden door. He placed his hand on the scanner. The light turned green. The door slid open. Cold air rushed out. Inside was a small room filled with old tech, flickering lights, and in the center, Lena. She was sitting on the floor, drawing something on the metal with a piece of chalk. She looked older now. 14, maybe. Pale skin, silver hair, and those same golden eyes. She looked up and smiled. "You came back." Jace fell to his knees. "I always will." She ran to him and hugged him tight. For a moment, there was peace. Then she whispered, "He's coming, isn't he?" Jace nodded. "He won't stop until he finds you." Lena sat beside him, quiet. "I know why." Jace turned to her. "What do you mean?" She looked down at her hand. Her skin glowed faintly. "I'm not just a girl. I was made. In that lab. They gave me something inside me." "What did they give you?" Jace asked. She hesitated. "A key. A signal. A piece of code that controls something very old." Jace's heart skipped. "What does it control?" She met his eyes. The monster. Outside, something shook the ground. Jace stood, grabbing his rifle. "He found us." "No," Lena said calmly. "They found us." Before he could ask what she meant, the screens in the bunker lit up. Military drones. A voice came through the speaker. "Commander Jace Ward, this is General Morin. Surrender the girl, you have 10 minutes. Jace stared at the screen. "How did they find us?" Lena whispered. "I think they've always known. They were just waiting. Waiting for the monster to get close. Waiting for Lena to be out in the open. They don't want to protect you," Jace said. "They want to use you." Lena nodded. "And if they can't use me, they'll destroy me." Outside, 2 dropships landed. Armed soldiers in black armor moved in. Inside, Jace prepared. The bunker's defenses. He knew they wouldn't last long. Lena touched his arm. "You don't have to do this." "Yes," he said. "I do." She looked at him, tears in her eyes. "Why?" Jace didn't answer right away. He pulled out the photo again. Her smile. Frozen in time. He finally said, "Because you're the only good thing left in this world." The first wave hit. Gunfire echoed through the tunnels. Explosions rocked the walls. Jace fought like a ghost, silent, fast, deadly. But he was only one. "Man, fall back," he shouted to himself, dragging his bleeding leg. He made it to the core chamber where Lena stood by a strange device. Her hands glowed again. "What is that?" he asked. "A memory. Something he left behind." "Who?" She looked up at him. "Razgor." Jace froze. "You mean the monster?" She nodded. "He wasn't always like that. He was made too, like me. Only broken." Then her voice cracked. "He used to protect me. When I was little." Jace stared at her, unsure if he had heard right. "You're saying Razgor knew you?" "Yes, before he lost his mind." Lena activated the device. A hologram appeared. A tall man, strong, with kind eyes, holding a small girl in his arms. "My name," the man said in the recording, "was Captain Raz. If you're seeing this, it means I failed. They turned me into something I never wanted to be. But if Lena is still alive, then maybe there's still hope." Jace's mind raced. The monster they were fighting was once a man, a protector. Soldier. Suddenly, alarms blared. Outside, the soldiers were retreating. Something massive moved through the smoke. The monster had arrived. Razgor was here. Jace grabbed Lena's hand. We need to move now. She looked back at the hologram. I think he remembers me. Jace shook his head. He's a killer now. She turned to him and said something that chilled his blood. Then I'll remind him who he was. Fall from the sky. The sky was burning. Again. Black smoke curled over the city ruins. The storm above twisted like a living thing. Red lightning flashed behind thick clouds. Far below, two figures ran through broken streets. Jace and Lena. Behind them, the sound of destruction followed. Not from men, not from machines, but from a monster. Razgor was here. He had arrived faster than expected. Not walking. Flying. With his massive, half-mechanical wings spread wide, he glided above the city like death itself. Every time he passed overhead, buildings cracked, windows exploded, and the ground seemed to cry. Jace gritted his teeth. We need to reach the extraction point now. Lena nodded, struggling to keep up. Her energy was draining fast. Her body glowed faintly, more than before. It was growing stronger. Or unstable. They reached the launch platform. Hidden under an old hospital, a small stealth shuttle stood ready. Only one chance. Jace threw open the hatch and helped Lena inside. He took the pilot seat, fingers moving fast. Engines online. Shields up. We're getting out of here. The ship lifted off just as Razgor landed on the street behind them. His red eyes locked on the shuttle. He roared. A sound that split the clouds. Lena looked back through the glass. For a moment, Razgor paused. Jace noticed it too. He hesitated. He remembers, Lena whispered. But the anger, it's too deep. The shuttle broke, through the clouds shaking hard. Lightning cracked around them. From the storm came Razgor again, flying close, metal wings tearing through the wind. Jace shouted, "Hang on!" Razgor smashed into the side of the shuttle. Alarms screamed. Red lights blinked. Jace grabbed the controls. "Stabilizing! He's trying to tear us down!" Lena stood, barely, keeping her balance. Her eyes were glowing golden now, brighter than ever before. "I can reach him," she said. "But I need time." "We don't have time," Jace yelled. The hull tore open. Razgor's massive hand reached inside. Lena closed her eyes. The golden light expanded from her skin, a pulse of soft energy, warm and strange. It touched Razgor's hand. He flinched. He stopped. Jace stared. "What? What is this?" Lena whispered. "His memories. I'm giving them back." Inside the monster's mind, images flashed. A small girl in a lab, laughing. A soldier kneeling beside her, a promise made in the dark. Protect her, no matter the cost. That soldier was Razgor, before the transformation. Back when he was human. Back when he still had a soul. But memories were not enough. Suddenly, Razgor roared in pain. The light faded. His claws struck the shuttle one last time. The ship spun out of control, spiraling through the sky. Jace yelled, "Brace for impact!" They crashed into the mountains. Metal twisted. Fire exploded. The world went black. Hours later, snow fell softly. The wreck of the ship lay half buried. Cold wind howled. Jace woke up coughing. His leg was broken. Blood ran down his face. But he was alive. He turned quickly. "Lena?" She was lying beside him, still breathing, but barely. Her skin pale, glowing, faintly blue now. "No, no. Stay with me," Jace whispered. He tore cloth from his sleeve and wrapped her wounds. Her skin burned to the touch. Something inside her was changing. She opened her eyes slowly. He's still near. Jace looked out at the trees. The forest was silent. "Where did he go?" "I don't know," she whispered. "But I felt him, before we crashed. Something was wrong." "Wrong how?" She looked at him, afraid. "He's not alone." Meanwhile, deep underground, Razgor knelt in the dark. His body shook, metal parts sparking, flesh torn. Inside his mind, two voices battled. One was human, old, tired, kind. The other was not. The second voice was cold, cruel, and hungry. You were built to protect her, the human voice said. No, the dark voice growled. I was built to survive. She is the weapon. I am the key. Razgor's body shuddered. Two minds. One body. The war inside had begun. Back at the crash site, Jace carried Lena into a nearby cave. He lit a fire and sat beside her, holding his weapon, waiting for the storm to pass. She spoke weakly. There's something I haven't told you. What is it? She took a breath. They didn't just make me. They made more. Jace turned slowly. More like you? No, worse. Stronger. Hidden in vaults across the planet. Sleeping. Jace felt cold. How many? She closed her eyes. 5. Jace stood up. He looked out into the dark woods, his jaw tight. One monster was already too much. Now there were 5 more and they might be waking up. The past is a weapon. The cave was quiet but not peaceful. Jace sat by the fire, sharpening his blade. Snow fell gently outside. The storm had passed, but the real storm was just beginning. Behind him, Lena lay wrapped in blankets, her breathing slow. Her skin still glowed. Faint blue pulses running like veins of light under her skin. Whatever the scientists had done to her, it was evolving. She wasn't just a girl anymore. She was a key to something much bigger. Jace kept hearing her words in his head. They made more like her, or worse, stronger, hidden around the world. And if Razgor was just the first, then Earth had no idea what was coming. Lena stirred. She opened her eyes and whispered, I saw something while I was out. Jace turned to her. A dream? No. A memory, but it wasn't mine. He leaned in. Whose was it? She hesitated. His. Razgor's. Inside the memory. The world was bright, sterile, a lab deep underground, white walls, glass tanks, dozens of scientists in hazmat suits, and inside one of the tanks floated a man, tall, strong, eyes closed, wires in his skull. Captain Raz. He had volunteered. He was supposed to become Earth's ultimate defender, faster than any soldier, stronger than any machine. But something went wrong. The human body couldn't handle the upgrades. His mind began to fracture. Rage became a permanent program. Pain was his new language. And when he finally opened his eyes, he wasn't a man anymore. He was a weapon. Lena clutched her chest. He wasn't the only one in the tanks. Jace stood alert. There were more? Yes, she said. 5 others. Not like me. Like him. Jace began pacing. His thoughts raced. We have to find them before they wake up. They already are, Lena said. She raised her hand. A pulse of light escaped her palm and hit the cave wall. It glowed, showing a map burned into stone. Old coordinates scattered across the planet. These are the vaults. They're sealed, but failing. The world's governments built them, then lied about it, covered them up. Jace looked closer. One location pulsed red. Vault 3, status, compromised. Someone already opened one, he said. No, Lena said quietly. Something did. Far away across the sea, in a desert, wasteland, a massive vault door stood half buried in sand, torn open from the inside. Inside, deep underground. Something crawled out. Not machine, not man, not Razgor. Something worse. Its eyes burned yellow. Its body was all bone and heat wrapped in scorched armor. It screamed into the wind. It had no name, but it had a mission. Find the girl. Back in the cave, Jace finished prepping gear. We move at sunrise. Where? Lena asked. He pointed to the old radio tower near the mountain's peak. If I can reach high ground, I might be able to contact someone. There's a man I trust, he's off-grid but ex-intelligence. If anyone knows about these vaults, it's him. Lena nodded slowly, but her eyes drifted. She wasn't just tired. She was hearing something. Lena? Jace asked. She grabbed his arm suddenly, her voice distant. He's here. Jace turned toward the cave's entrance. Nothing. Then, boom. Snow flew from the trees. The ground shook. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy footsteps. A shadow moved between the trees. But it wasn't Razgor. This one was faster, smaller, more alive. Jace grabbed his weapon. Lena, run! She tried to stand but collapsed. Her energy was nearly gone. The creature entered the cave mouth. Its skin was like cracked glass, glowing orange underneath, like lava. Its face was hidden under a melted mask. Its arms were long, claws dragging sparks from the walls. Jace fired. The bullets bounced. Off. The creature opened its mouth and let out a shriek that wasn't sound or why it was heat. The cave lit up. Jace tackled Lena, covering her as fire washed over the stone. The cave started collapsing. Move! He shouted. He picked her up and ran through the back tunnel, rocks falling behind him. The creature followed. They burst out onto a cliff. Wind roared. The sky above them was glowing red. Jace looked over the edge, a long fall. Nowhere to run. The creature stepped out of the shadows. Closer. Jace looked at Lena. Can you do anything? She shook her head. Not yet. I need time. I need Razgor. Jace narrowed his eyes. You think he'll come? I know he will, she whispered. Suddenly the air cracked open, like glass breaking. A beam of red light slammed into the creature. The impact threw it back into the mountain wall. From the sky, Razgor descended, glowing with fire and rage. He landed between them and the creature, and for the first time he looked at Jace, not as an enemy, but as an ally. The mind of a monster, the mountain trembled beneath their feet. Razgor stood tall, his body steaming from impact, red energy flickering between metal plates. His eyes glowed, not with rage this time, but confusion. Conflict. Jace stared at him, frozen. The last time they met, Razgor tried to kill him. Now, he had saved them. The second creature, the one with burning skin and molten claws, crawled from the rubble. Its mask was cracked. It hissed, broken but not dead. Razgor moved between it and Lena without a word. He growled like a beast, but there was something else behind the sound. Something almost human. Jace pulled Lena behind a rock, shielding her. Can you feel him again? He asked. She nodded weakly. Yes, his mind, it's opening, I can see inside. Can he hear you? She closed her eyes. I don't know, but I'm going to try. Inside Razgor's mind, it was chaos, screams, fire, broken metal, echoes of war. A storm that never stopped. At the center, a man was chained to a wall of light, Captain Raz. He looked like the man from the hologram, human, strong, eyes full of guilt. In front of him stood a darker figure, tall, faceless, made of wires and shadows, the second personality, the beast. It spoke with a voice like static. You're too weak. Let me finish what they started. Raz spoke slowly. I was built to protect her. You were built to obey. You failed. Let me control. The shadow moved toward him, chains tightening. Raz screamed, but then a light appeared, a small voice in the darkness. Raz, remember me. Lena's voice. The man opened his eyes. Lena? Chains cracked. Back in the real world, Razgor roared, but not in anger, in pain. He dropped to one knee, clutching his head. Red lightning sparked from his body. The second creature saw its chance. It lunged forward, claws raised. Jace fired his rifle, emptying every last shot into its chest. It slowed. Just enough. Razgor stood again. And this time, he fought back. Their battle shook the mountain. Fire against metal, speed against strength. The second creature, let's call it Moltric, moved like a demon. Fast, agile, fueled by fire. Every hit melted stone, burned the air. But Razgor had evolved. He fought not with rage now, but with control. He dodged, blocked, trapped Moltric with debris, crushed him with a falling boulder. When Moltric rose again, Razgor grabbed him by the throat and lifted him high. "She is not yours," he growled, and with a final roar he snapped its spine and threw the body down the cliff. Silence. Steam. Snow fell again. Razgor turned to Jace and Lena. Jace raised his rifle. Lena placed a hand on it. "No." Razgor knelt, not like a monster, but like a man who was asking forgiveness. Jace stepped forward. "Do you know who you are?" Razgor looked up. His voice was cracked, deep, but it was human. "I was Captain Raz. They broke me. But I remember now. Because of her." He looked at Lena, almost like a father might. "She saved me," Lena smiled weakly. "You saved me first, a long time ago." But there was no time to rest. Jace pointed to the sky. "That blast we saw, it'll bring more." Razgor nodded. "Moltric was just the first. The others are waking." Lena stood slowly. Her light flickered. "I need to reach the other vaults before they do." Jace looked between them. "Then we move together." Razgor placed his hand on the ground. A pulse of red light spread through the earth. Lines of energy formed a map in the snow. 5 vaults. 4 unopened. Each guarded by something worse than Moltric. One of them pulsed dark purple. "Vault 7, Razgor said. "That one. We must reach last." "Why?" Jace asked. Razgor stood. "Because that's where they kept me. And what they made next was worse." Suddenly the ground split near the horizon. A giant hand covered in bone and rusted steel rose from the earth. From inside Vault 4, another monster awoke. This one had no face, only a spinning jaw of blades. It let out a scream that shattered trees miles away. Jace stared in horror. "How do we stop that?" Razgor looked ahead. "We don't stop it." He turned to Lena. "She does. Death or mercy." The forest was no longer silent. Wind howled through the trees, but it wasn't natural. It was pulled, sucked toward something, massive, ancient, and awake. Vault 4 had opened. A monster was climbing out. Its body was made of iron bones. Long, spiked limbs dragged behind it like broken chains. Where a face should have been, there was only a spinning ring of blades, grinding like a mechanical scream. Its name was Antharic, and it had only one purpose: devour all signals of life. Jace, Lena, and Razgor stood on a rocky ridge watching from a distance. The beast hadn't seen them yet. But it would. Razgor's voice was low. Antharic was the failsafe. If all the others were destroyed, it would rise and finish the job. "What job?" Jace asked. Razgor turned to him. "The extinction of everything, except the ones who made us." Jace clenched his fists. "So Earth was never meant to survive." "No," Razgor said. "Earth was just the lab." Suddenly Lena collapsed. Her eyes glowed gold, flickering like a warning. "Lena!" Jace caught her before she hit the ground. I see them all," she whispered. "All 5. Awake. Hungry." "What are they looking for?" Jace asked. She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "Me." Inside her mind, Lena floated in white space. She saw them, the monsters, all of them, connected by a dark thread, like a hive. And at the center, a pulsing core. It wasn't mechanical. It was alive. A heart made of pure code and memory. "Come home," it whispered. You were never meant to run. Lena screamed. Back in reality, she woke up gasping. Razgor was beside her, one hand on her chest. I stabilized her, he said. For now. Jace looked at her, afraid. What's happening to her? Razgor hesitated. Her body is adapting faster than her mind can handle. They're calling her. They? Jace asked. The architects, Razgor said. The ones who made us. Jace felt cold. You're saying they're still out there? Not out there, Razgor said. Underneath. They had no time to process it. Etheric turned, its head twisted, spinning blades screaming. It had found them, and it moved fast, too fast. Trees exploded as it ran, limbs smashing through stone. Razgor stepped forward. I'll hold it. No, Jace said. We fight together. But Razgor didn't move. He looked at Lena. If I lose control again, you know what to do. Lena shook her head. I won't hurt you. He stared at her. You might have to. The monster reached them. The battle began. Jace ran left, drawing its attention with gunfire. Razgor tackled it from the side, metal slamming against bone. But Etheric adapted fast. Every hit made it smarter. Every injury made it meaner. It wrapped one limb around Razgor and threw him through a mountain wall. Jace fired explosives at its legs. No effect. Lena stood still, her eyes glowing again. Power building inside her. Her hands burned with white-blue fire. She stepped forward. Slowly, calmly. Stop, she said. The monster paused, only for a second. Then it charged her. Jace shouted, No! But before it could strike, Razgor came back, smashing into it mid-charge, knocking it down the cliffside. They both disappeared into the fog. Silence. Then a distant boom. Jace ran to the edge and looked down. Nothing. Just smoke and ruins. Hours passed. Lena sat quietly, her light fading. She hadn't said a word since the fall. Jace paced, angry, tired, bleeding. He saved us. Again. I should have stopped it, she whispered. You're not a weapon, Jace said. But I was. Built to be one, she replied. That night the fire was low. Cold air crept in. Lena stared at the stars, then a sound. Heavy, slow. Razgor limped into the clearing, burned, broken, alive. Jace stood. How? Not dead yet, Razgor grunted. But something was wrong. His eyes flickered red again. He fell to one knee. Lena rushed to him. You're hurt. He looked up, his voice shaking. He's trying to come back. Jace raised his weapon. The other mind? Razgor nodded. He's stronger now. The architects, they're using my body like a beacon. We can shut it down, Jace said. Razgor shook his head. No, not without killing me. Silence. Lena stood slowly, her glow returning. I can go inside his mind again, but this time, I have to destroy the other mind completely. Jace stepped forward. Can you do it without hurting him? She looked at Razgor. No. Razgor sat still, accepting it. Do it, he said. Before I become him again. Lena touched his forehead. The light from her hand sank into his skin. He gasped. His eyes went white. Inside his mind, darkness, screams. Two versions of Razgor fought. One human, one machine. Lena appeared in the middle. She held out her hand. Choose, she said. The human Razgor reached out. The machine lunged, and she unleashed the light. A shockwave of memory. Every face Razgor ever saved. Every promise. Every failure. The machine screamed and crumbled into dust. Silence. Then, the sky opened, and Razgor stood, human in form. He smiled. Thank you. Back in the real world, Razgor collapsed, unconscious. Lena wept. He's free. But freedom always has a cost. Deep beneath the earth in Vault 7, the final chamber opened, and from within, a being stepped out. Not a monster, not a machine, but a perfect mix of both. Female, cold, identical to Lena, but fully controlled by the architects. Unit L0X1 has gone rogue, she said. Initiate termination protocol. One last stand. The world had changed. Vaults had opened. Monsters walked the earth again. Cities fell silent. Satellites went dark. Entire armies vanished. And far above, in low orbit, a shadow passed across the sky. A massive object. Quiet. Cold. Watching. The Architect Corps had arrived. Not a ship. Not alive. But something in between. It pulsed once, sending a signal to Earth. All rogue units, terminate. The countdown had begun. In the high mountains near a hidden valley, 3 broken figures prepared for war. Jace, the soldier who had already died once in spirit, now ready to give everything. Lena, the girl created to be a weapon, but who chose to be something more, and Razgor, once a monster, now reborn, but running out of time. His core was failing. The battle within Theric had damaged his systems beyond repair. He walked slower. Sparks leaked from his chest. But in his eyes, human again, there was only one mission. Protect Lena. They stood at the edge of a ridge, staring down at the dark forest below. Inside that forest and waited L0X1. She looked exactly like Lena, but colder, stronger, faster. The perfect version. No fear, no memory. Just code L0X1 was hunting them, and she wasn't alone. Behind her, the remaining awakened beasts, 4 of them, each stronger than the last. She activated the hive, Razgor said. They're all connected now. Jace nodded grimly. 1, signal. 1 will. Lena stared into the forest. Then we cut the signal. Their only hope lay beneath them, in the Architect relay tower hidden beneath the mountain, buried long ago. Power still active. If we destroy the relay, Jace said, we shut down their control. But, Razgor added, it will also destroy me. Lena turned. What do you mean? My body is linked to the Architect code. I was the first. The prototype. If their signal dies, my systems crash with it. Jace looked at him, then at Lena. We'll find another way. There is no other way, Razgor said. He knelt beside Lena. You gave me back my soul. Let me give you this. Night fell, and with it came the storm. The sky tore open. Lightning rained down. From the forest came the monsters. 4 beasts, walking in perfect sync with L0X1. She walked ahead of them like a queen of machines. Her eyes glowed blue, her voice flat and calm. Return to the signal, Lena. You are broken. I am what you were meant to be. Lena stepped forward. I'm not yours. I'm not anyone's. L0X1 tilted her head. Incorrect. She raised her hand. The beasts charged. The final battle began. Jace opened fire from the ridge, bullets sparking off thick armor. He tossed grenades, drawing one beast toward him. Razgor tackled another head-on, crushing it into a rock wall, then tearing out its core with his bare hands. Lena faced her mirror. L0X1. They circled each other slowly. You can't win. L0X1 said. Emotion is weakness, memory is noise. Lena glared. Maybe, but I'd rather die human than live like you. They clashed, energy against energy, blue light versus golden flame. Every strike from L0X1 was sharp and perfect, but Lena's attacks came with feeling, fire fueled by purpose. Elsewhere, Jace had taken a hit. His shoulder was bleeding. He saw one beast leaping toward Lena. He dove in front of her, took the hit, slammed into the ground. His vision blurred. Jace, Lena screamed. But she couldn't reach him. L0X1 was on her, relentless. That's when Razgor stepped in. He grabbed L0X1 by the throat and slammed her into the ground. He looked at Lena. Now, go to the relay. I'll handle this. Lena ran, deep underground into the mountain's core. The Architect relay pulsed with alien light, like a heart made of wire. She placed her hand on the panel. It recognized her. Unit L01 confirmed. The system spoke. Deactivate master. Signal? This action is irreversible. She hesitated. Above, she heard fighting, Razgor roaring, Jace groaning, the beasts hunting them. She whispered, "I'm sorry." "Confirm?" She pressed her palm deeper. Confirmed. The relay glowed, then exploded with light. Above, L0X1 froze. The monsters collapsed. Their bodies twitched, then fell like puppets with cut strings. L0X1 looked at Razgor. "The signal is gone." She blinked. Her voice softened. What am I?" Then her core shattered. She fell, light fading from her eyes. The world fell quiet. No more signal. No more monsters. The architect core in orbit dimmed and slowly drifted away. Defeated. Later. The sun rose. Jace limped out of the rubble, arm around Lena. They found Razgor sitting on a rock, staring at the sky. His body was breaking apart, slowly crumbling, but he smiled. "You did it," he said. "You did too," Lena whispered. She knelt beside him. He looked at her one last time. Live free. Then, he was gone. Epilogue. Years later, Lena stood on a hill, wind in her hair. The world had changed, rebuilt. No vaults, no monsters, just people and stories. At the top of the hill was a statue, not of a soldier, not of a weapon, but of a protector. Razgor Lena placed a flower at the base. She smiled. He had been built to destroy, but in the end, he chose to save.